Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Fluent Shift Podcast, the show that transforms how you think about English learning. I'm Emma.
And I'm Mark. Today, we're about to challenge one of the biggest assumptions in English learning. And it might just change the way you study forever.
Because here's what we've discovered. The more you obsess over grammar rules while speaking, the less fluent you become. Sounds counterintuitive, right?
It's what we call the grammar obsession trap, and it's keeping millions of intermediate and advanced learners stuck. This is day 2 of your 7-day English brain revolution, and today's episode is titled, Why Grammar Rules Are Killing Your Fluency. This one hits hard because it's the trap almost every learner falls into.
Whether you're joining from day 1 or just starting here, you're in the right place. What we're about to share can unlock real fluency for you, starting now. By the way, if you missed day 1 of this 7-day brain revolution, check out the playlist in the description. It's the foundation for everything we'll cover today. Mark, I have a confession. I used to teach grammar rules, thinking I was helping my students, but I was actually creating speaking anxiety.
Really? How so?
Here's what I noticed. Native speakers use grammar intuitively. They make mistakes constantly. Yet they communicate perfectly. Meanwhile, students who know every grammar rule freeze up in real conversations.
That's exactly what happens to me. I know the rules, but when I speak, I overthink everything.
Today, we're exposing the grammar obsession trap that's keeping many intermediate learners stuck in analysis paralysis. And we're revealing the fluency approach that prioritizes communication over perfection. Let me ask you something, Mark. When you were 3 years old, did you study grammar rules before speaking your native language?
Of course not. I just started talking.
Exactly. You learned through what linguists call implicit acquisition. Your brain absorbed patterns naturally. But many intermediate learners get trapped in explicit analysis, constantly monitoring grammar while trying to communicate.
What do you mean?
They overthink grammar rules while speaking, which creates what I call the analysis paralysis cycle. The cycle works like this. Think about a grammar rule while speaking. Brain splits attention between message and form. Speaking becomes hesitant and unnatural. Confidence drops from overcorrection. You avoid challenging conversations. And your fluency progress stalls.
That's my experience. I know present perfect rules perfectly, but I still pause to think about them mid-sentence.
Here's the insight. Research shows that excessive focus on grammar accuracy while speaking actually slows down fluency development. Your brain has 2 language systems, the monitor system and the acquisition system.
What's the difference?
The monitor is slow, conscious, and creates hesitation. The acquisition system is fast, automatic, and natural. Native speakers primarily use their acquisition system while speaking.
So grammar focus trains the wrong system?
Exactly. It overactivates your monitor when you should be trusting your acquired patterns. Let me share some fascinating research. Dr. Stephen Krashen studied thousands of language learners and discovered something important about grammar's role.
What did he find?
Grammar rules are most useful for editing and formal writing. But for spontaneous speaking, they often create more problems than they solve.
Wait, really?
Think about it. When native speakers say, "Me and my friend went shopping," instead of "my friend and I went," does communication break down?
Not at all.
Exactly. The message is perfectly clear. That's what effective communication looks like. Let me introduce the 3 fluency principles. Communication over perfection, being understood matters more than being grammatically flawless. Patterns over rules. Your brain learns through exposure and repetition, not memorization. Flow over accuracy. Smooth communication beats grammatically perfect hesitation.
So you're saying grammar doesn't matter at all?
Not at all. Grammar is important, but its role is often misunderstood. Here's the key insight: the cognitive load reality. Your brain has limited processing power during speaking. Excessive grammar monitoring uses significant mental resources. That leaves less capacity for actual message creation. Result: slower, more stressful communication.
No wonder English conversations feel exhausting sometimes.
Right. Fluent speakers use their mental energy primarily for communication because grammar patterns have become automatic through practice. Here's how to develop fluency using pattern-based learning instead of rule obsession.
How does it work?
Instead of analyzing rules, you internalize patterns through high-frequency phrase practice. The method works like this. Focus on common, useful English patterns. Practice them in meaningful contexts. Let grammar emerge, naturally, through repetition. Trust the acquisition process.
Can you give me an example?
Absolutely. Instead of teaching present perfect rules, I teach these natural patterns. I've been thinking about. I've never experienced. I've always wanted to. I've just realized.
These feel so much more natural to use.
That's because they're complete thought patterns. Your brain learns them as meaningful chunks, not grammar exercises. The power of chunking. Fluent speakers think in phrases, not individual words. How have you been? Is processed as one unit. I was wondering if you could is one pattern. Grammar happens automatically. Within these chunks, here are some advanced pattern categories. Expressing preferences. I tend to prefer. Sharing opinions. From my experience, I've found that. Making suggestions. What if we? Have you considered? Showing interest. That's fascinating. I hadn't thought about that.
This feels so much more practical than memorizing tense rules.
Let's address the common worry. But what about mistakes? Won't I sound unprofessional?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Here's the perspective shift. Strategic mistakes often make communication feel more natural. Even educated native speakers use informal grammar in everyday conversation. Common, non-standard usage by natives. Who did you give it to? Preposition at end. There's lots of reasons. Agreement variation. Me and Sarah are going. Informal pronoun order.
But these sound completely normal to me.
Exactly. They represent natural language evolution. The key is knowing when formal accuracy matters versus when communication flow matters more. The fluency mindset shift. From, is this grammatically perfect? To, is my message clear? From, avoiding all mistakes. To, communicating effectively. From perfect accuracy. To, appropriate accuracy for the context. The 3-step communication focus. Prioritize your message. Over grammar monitoring. Notice when you're overcorrecting yourself. Celebrate successful communication, not just accuracy.
This is liberating. But how do I measure improvement?
Focus on these real fluency indicators. You speak with natural rhythm and pace. People easily understand your meaning. You can express complex ideas smoothly. Conversations feel engaging, not stressful. You enjoy communicating. In English. Grammar perfection is not the primary goal. Effective communication is. Here's your practical action plan for fluency development. Week 1, Pattern Integration. Collect 5 to 10 useful patterns daily from authentic English. Practice them in realistic contexts. Focus on meaning and usage, not grammar analysis. Week 2, Communication Confidence. Record yourself speaking for 5 minutes daily on various topics. Focus on message clarity and natural flow. Celebrate every complete thought expressed. Week 3, Natural Grammar Acquisition. Trust that grammar will improve through pattern practice. Resist the urge to analyze rules. While speaking, measure success by communication effectiveness. The pattern collection strategy. Watch English content and notice recurring phrases. Write down expressions that sound useful and natural. Practice using them in your own contexts. Let grammar patterns emerge through repetition.
What if I need grammar for exams or formal writing?
Great question. Maintain separate practices. Study grammar explicitly for tests and writing. But don't let that analysis interfere with your speaking fluency. They're different skills, requiring different approaches. Here's this week's challenge. The Communication First Speaking Week. The guidelines. For 1 week, prioritize message over grammar while speaking. Focus on getting your ideas across clearly. If you catch yourself overanalyzing grammar, refocus on your message. Notice how this affects your speaking confidence.
What should people expect?
Initially, you might feel uncertain without your grammar safety net. That's completely normal. But by day 3 or 4, many people notice their English starts flowing more naturally, and conversations become more enjoyable. Remember, fluency comes from practice and communication, not from perfect grammar knowledge. You're developing natural language ability, the same way native speakers maintain theirs.
Subscribe to Speak English Daily TV on YouTube and TikTok for daily fluency tips that prioritize real communication skills.
In the next episode, we're revealing 15 powerful tips to control your mind and emotions. It's day 3 of your 7-day English brain revolution, and it's all about mastering your inner world, so you can speak with calm confidence.
Until then, focus on patterns and communication.
Fluent Shift Podcast signing off.